Ancelotti gives us an update on the injuries of Bellingham, Carvajal, Ceballos, and Camavinga. He also talks about the possible starting lineup of Endrick, the record of 38 games without losing, and the irony of not having a style of play. Here's our coach. Let's listen.
How do you see tomorrow's match against Alaves? They've won 3 of their last 4 matches and are one of the surprise teams in La Liga.
Well, our objective is always the same. We're starting to have a better dynamic, and we want to continue with this good momentum. We know that for every match, we have to compete, fight, and suffer as always. But I think we're improving, and we'll continue to improve in the coming matches.
How is Bellingham's shoulder injury, especially after having problems with it last year?
Bellingham's shoulder discomfort is in the same shoulder as last year. But this discomfort he had in the last match hasn't affected him, and he's recovered. But obviously he'll play with protection so we can be calm. He's available and could play and will play. Carvajal hasn't been able to recover from his blow and needs a few more days to be okay, and will be ready for Sunday's match.
We assume you won't tell us the starting lineup for tomorrow's match, but we saw that you rested Vini in the last match. Will Mbappe rest for tomorrow's match?
You'll find that out tomorrow. As always, I'm not going to give the starting lineup for the match, but there will be times to rotate players, and we're doing that. Now, there are players who have fresh energy like Vini, Mendy, Rodrygo, and also Lucas Vázquez, so they have more of a chance to play.
Do you think we can announce Endrick's debut as a starter for tomorrow's match? What would be his role on the field? Every time he's come on, he's made a difference on the field.
Although his position on the field seems very clear, it's not 100% clear, because in the few minutes he's played, we've also seen him on the right wing, and he's done well there because he's very hard-working, and he has a lot of motivation. For me, he's a center forward, but he can also play on the right wing, although his natural position isn't that, but he can play well cutting inside. So I think he can take advantage of playing some minutes on the right wing.
How is Ceballos? We've seen that he's been training on the field.
Yes, he's recovering, he's doing well and quickly. Today he did some running and everything is fine. He feels good. So everything's going very well.
Of the 18 goals the team has scored, 17 have been scored in the second half of matches. What does this statistic mean? Does this data have any explanation?
Yes, it's something that certainly catches my attention. We talked about this with the players before the last match, and I think the first half has been intense. But I think the opponents in the second halves lower their pace a bit and the intensity of their defense, and then we find more space. But yes, this is a very interesting statistic.
We know that Camavinga won't play tomorrow. Do you think the Frenchman will play in the derby?
I think the plan with Camavinga is that he starts training with the team starting Thursday, because we're all going to rest after tomorrow's match. And on Thursday, he'll be with us, so he'll be available to play.
Could you explain to me how it's possible to play so badly, ironically speaking, and still be able to reach 50 consecutive matches without losing 38 of these in La Liga?
No, I can't explain that to you. Because for me, we don't play badly. This is difficult to say, but I think what stands out the most is that for all these years, Real Madrid doesn't have a single playing identity. The team has done things well, defending well with a low block, has played with quick transitions, also managing possession of the ball during matches. So I think that not having a clear playing identity makes some people think that we don't have a style. But I think that's true. We don't have one style, but we have many styles.
Tomorrow will be your 300th match managing Real Madrid, the second club you've managed the most in your career, only after Milan. What would have become of your career if you hadn't coached Real Madrid?
Well, what would have happened? I've been lucky to have coached great clubs. Personally, one of the greatest has been Milan because I was a player there, so I have a very special affection for that club. But as a coach, the best club has been Real Madrid because I've been lucky enough to reach 300 matches at the best club in the world tomorrow. There's no doubt about it. It has been and is a special experience to coach here. I can't say it's a miracle to have coached 300 matches, but it almost is.
Do you have a date in mind to stop coaching, maybe in 2, 3, or 4 years? Or maybe it's something you take day by day?
No, I don't have a date for that. Nobody has a date. I will do this job until I stop enjoying it. I can compare my tiredness to the tiredness of the players. I could have mental fatigue, but honestly, I don't. I have no fatigue at all. Certainly there is pressure and responsibility, but I like having that weight. I would like to stay here for many more years.
How many more injuries have to happen in football for someone to do something? Will they go on strike or something to stop this?
I would like to say that I am very sorry that players are getting injured. Yesterday, Ter Stegen got injured, and I hope he can recover soon because he is one of the best goalkeepers in the world. So I hope his recovery can be as soon as possible. For the moment, we can't do much. As I said before, the calendar won't change this season. But at least the world of football will have to do an analysis on this.
Valverde has played in many positions in midfield. In which position do you think he can play best?
I think Valverde is a midfielder who can play in several positions in midfield with a high level. He has. He can play as a defensive midfielder. He can do it as a wing midfielder or even as a forward. Because of his performance, he is a team player and is indispensable. No matter where I put him, he has the ability to handle all situations.
How do you manage the possibility of Endrick playing as a starter at such a young age, only 18 years old? And out of curiosity, did you watch the Milan derby yesterday?
Yes, I talked to Endrick just like I talked to all the players. The issue of Endrick having to be patient is something he knows very well. This is something he understands perfectly because he trains every day and lives daily with the best forwards in the world. So he understands perfectly what his role is at the moment. I have to admit that he has been climbing many steps because he is very professional, in addition to having a lot of maturity despite being very young, so he is doing very well now, and we are happy to have him with us. The Milan derby was a good game for all Milan fans. Finally, we have won after a long time.
You've often said that for you, Mendy is the best left-back in the world, with great ability to defend in numerical inferiority. But in his national team, he doesn't play, or plays very little. He's even not called up sometimes. However, for you, he is indispensable. What do you think of the difference between his situation with Real Madrid versus his national team?
What I see is that we are happy with him. He has recently renewed his contract. He is doing very well. And as I said before, his defensive level is very high. Although with the ball it could be different. And it's not that he has difficulty handling the ball, but it's just that I don't ask him to do the job that I ask another type of left back to do. He could also do offensive work, but due to the fact that we have a very strong left winger, we don't ask him for much in offensive play.
Tomorrow will mark 1 year since your last defeat in La Liga. It's already been 38 games in La Liga without losing. This would be a whole consecutive league season. The current record is 43 games achieved by Guardiola at Barcelona. Do you attach importance to this kind of record? In 2014, you achieved the record of 22 consecutive wins with Real Madrid, although this record didn't help you much at the end of the season.
Well, if we compare these two records, we will see that they are very different, because one is focused only on wins and the other on not losing matches. We have had a much longer streak in this last statistic, and it indicates that we have had much more success. Success is also in being able to draw, to remain undefeated in the tournament. And these draws can help a lot at the end of the season. This is what I have always thought in football. If you can't win, then you don't have to let yourself lose. You can't lose. Obviously, a draw can give you a better feeling than a defeat. Although a defeat is also an opportunity to improve. The success we had last season, winning the La Liga and Champions League titles, was because of this. We have had a competitive continuity match by match that has been fantastic and continues to be fantastic. I know that at the beginning of this season we have had a little trouble being more solid, but I think we will finally achieve it because the mental attitude of our players is very good. Ciao.